Charlotte.
Okay, brother Darrell, you on? You on?
Come here. Plug this thing in without moving it. Thank you.
You on, brother?
Greetings and welcome to another powerful edition of the Community Defender Talk Show. One powerful hour of truth dispelling falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Darrell Muhammad, and I'm just here to help, to elevate the discussion and to make sure that we do the best we can to bring our people the actual facts that we all need in order to make informed decisions on what to do and what to believe. I want to mention here at the top of the hour with this episode of the Community Defender, I wanted to mention a woman of God who, of course, turned 90 years old, and that is the Mother Khadijah, the wife of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who turned 90 years old November the 29th. I don't know if we have an image of her
Yes.
that we can show, but I wanted to make sure that the viewing audience understood that she is the wife of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. She has given birth to 9 human beings. 9 black folks have come through the wonderful womb of this woman. This woman is the mother of the faithful, and of course, she is the first lady in the Nation of Islam, the person who has been with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan since September. It will be 70 years that they have been married. So we definitely appreciate the wonderful example in Black America that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah have given us, the wonderful righteous example of staying together through thick and thin, and of course 70 years of marriage, and she just turned 90 years old November the 29th. So we thank Allah for her. I want to mention also the passing of our brother, formerly known as H. Rap Brown, but Brother Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, a Black Panther, an activist, a soldier in the cause of freedom, justice, and equality, a brother born right here in Louisiana in the city of Baton Rouge, Brother Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, also known by many as H. Rap Brown. He did pass away at the age of 82 while in prison. I'm going to read right quick some of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had to say in his official letter to the public on the passing of Brother Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin. And he says that he was a brother. I'm going to read it. When he was known as H. Rap Brown, though many may say he was a great civil rights leader, but if that is so, he is and will remain the greatest revolutionary in the civil rights movement. And from that status, he accepted Islam and became a great soldier in the army of Allah, a brother dedicated to the spreading of Islam and being a champion of its cause. I know he was feared by our enslavers, and they could not rest in their fear of him until they were able to take him out of the public by placing him in prison, including the Supermax prison for over a decade. But wherever he was, he remained a devout Muslim and was known as a great, unshakable follower of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He is among those who have been falsely accused of murdering a police officer, but he was never criminal in our eyes, and he died a fierce, uncompromising brother. We, in the Nation of Islam, will always revere him and keep him in our honor as an ancestor, inspiring us to continue in the struggle until every one of our people and all those unjustly imprisoned will be set free. That, of course, is part of the official letter that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan put out. And there is a wonderful article about Brother Jamil inside of the current edition of the Final Call. You can get this on finalcall.com. But of course, all of our people should be reading the final call because it is what we call uncompromising and real black journalism. Now, the topic that we're dealing with right now is America does not care. And some of you may take offense to the fact that we spelled America with 3 Ks, and that is to show the racism that is inextricably bound to the country and its system. In other words, you cannot separate America from racism, otherwise it wouldn't be America. America is a racist country, but that does not mean that those of us who she is racist against should despair. No, we should unify and work collectively for the common good of our group that needs to be resurrected. The main problem in this racist country is the fact that those who are oppressed have a slave mind. Once we come out of the mind of a slave, the mind of somebody who is trying to conform to something that they will never be accepted in, until we are willing to come out of slavery mentally, okay, that is what is going to change it. We cannot change America. We can't say, well, look, we'll change the government. No, you can't change it. The government will be on the same white supremacist page it is always on. All right. So you cannot change America. But what we can change is our thinking and how we relate to one another. We can change that. And, you know, a lot of us talk about voting. And let me just give you this example right here. A lot of us talk about voting. And we vote all the time. But this is your real ballot. This right here is your ballot. Whatever you put this on continues to exist. The reason that black businesses do not exist as they should in the black community, like they should in the black community, is because we're not using our ballot to vote for them. This is your ballot. Whatever you put this on, it will be successful. Whatever you withhold it from, it will start hurting. The reason that Target is having problems right now nationwide is because we are not voting for Target as much as we were, based upon the boycott that some members of our clergy have called, and it has caused, and now Target is hurting because we're not voting for her like we used to. All right. This is your real ballot. Understand that. Some of you are voting for Gucci. Some of you are voting for Versace, but very few of you are voting for freedom. And I think even an NAACP membership might be $30 or $40 for an annual membership, but most of us have never been a member. We haven't even spent $30, but we will buy some Dom Perignon, which is $180 a bottle. But we might not donate to Cobra, donate to the Nation of Islam, donate to the NAACP, donate to those black organizations that are all about uplift. So I just wanted to lay that out there. We talk about voting, but remember what Brother Darrell said. This is your ballot. All right. I know Benjamin Franklin is ugly. I agree. He is an ugly man. But when you put him on something, when you pull him together with your own people for a common good, you can do something with this ugly joker. All right. Just laying it out there. All right. Now, what we're going to do, you know, as I announced the topic, America does not care. I understand that we fought in all of America's wars, but America doesn't care. America doesn't care about our dedication. America doesn't care about our pain. America doesn't give a damn about black folks, about Latinos, about Asians, about anybody. America doesn't care about morality. America doesn't care. We got to get there. We have to make decisions understanding that they don't care. And it is only when you make things uncomfortable for them by properly using your ballot that they begin to look at you, listen to you, see what's going on with you, try to talk to you, so on and so forth. You got to exert pressure because they do not have a moral compass such that they will do the right thing because it is morally right. All right. Now let's go ahead and play this clip of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan when he was on Cliff Kelly show in Chicago a number of years ago. There's a caller that's going to call in, make some points, and ask a question, and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is going to comment on it. But some of the points that he made then are relevant to what's going on now, and it shows you that you cannot trust this system at all. If you do, you might as well believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. This system is not going to ever do right on its own. It's just not going to happen. Let's go ahead and roll that clip, brother director.
And we're back. This is Talking Chicago 1680. That's Ahmad Jamal. That's not Minister Farrakhan this time. That's Ahmad. We are streaming live at www.wvon.com, and we're going to take another call. That was a heck of a statement that you just made. I love it. Let's go to Dave from Glenview. Dave, thank you for holding. You're on the Talk of Chicago. Dave.
Hi, Cliff.
Dave. Fine,
yeah,
Dave. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked with you before. I wanted to make a couple points. Number one, that Mr. Farrakhan, I agree with you wholeheartedly that we will not win the Afghanistan war, whatever you want to call it. And perhaps some of the reasons that you suggested, I agree with. There's other thoughts that I have that maybe you might want to consider, and that is that Afghanistan is the number one heroin-producing, poppy-producing country in the world, which breeds a lot of corruptness. Mm-hmm. And the U.S. military, in trying to reconcile with the farmers and whatever else, has not done one thing to stop the flow of drugs out of Afghanistan to Europe and the United States. We will never win this war because it's about money, it's about greed, and to a certain extent, it's about religious fanaticism, which fuels and pays for the extremists. But the U.S. has satellites, and they can look down on Afghanistan, and they can see thousands of acres of poppy. If we really wanted to stop the money flowing to these extremists, in my opinion, all we have to do is eradicate the poppy. I don't know if that's
okay. Let's let him respond. Yeah, let's let him respond. Thank you for your call. Let me say, before you do, on another station, I had a director from the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and this man told me, I'll never forget it, that you can tell what the U.S. foreign policy is by which drugs are coming into the country. And when we finished and we were talking after the show, I said, I can't believe you said that. He said, oh, I retired 2 weeks ago.
Well,
but it's true.
To answer the gentleman, I thank you for what you said, because I do consider that. There we have a saying, in God we trust, but that's G period, O period, D period, guns period, oil period, drugs period. It is interesting to note that drugs did not flow out of Afghanistan as much as it is today when the Taliban were in power. Now that America has her own person in power answering to her, the drugs are flowing. Well, there's a reason. And believe me, as long as this corruption and this wickedness masks itself in the name of democracy and justice and freedom, then the deceit will go on, but soon and very soon, the Afghan people will have the last word. And my advice to President Obama the last time I was on this show was that he should find the best way to get out of Afghanistan and leave Afghanistan and its problems to the Afghan people.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. I'm Cliff.
And of course, there you have it, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan laying it out, of course, predicting that the war would not be won by the United States. That it was, basically predicting everything that happened in the Biden administration. Of course, Barack Obama did not want to appear weak, so he stayed in, and the withdrawal was negotiated by the first Trump administration and then executed by the Biden administration. But the point is that all of these wars of aggression lead to nowhere but spending trillions of dollars, and probably $2 trillion was dumped into Afghanistan. $2 trillion that could have gone to healthcare, that could have built roads, which would have created jobs, that could have built other infrastructure that also create jobs and opportunity. But instead, it was spent on the useless war machine. And of course, that's unfortunate. Now, I want to mention this. Once America went into Afghanistan, that is when the drugs started to really flow, which means that if you're in military control of a country and the drugs are flowing out at a faster rate, that's because you want them to come out. And it lays it out there pretty clear that drugs is something that the government actually wants. Don't forget that the government imported cocaine, set up the crack epidemic under the Reagan administration, and then criminalized the drug crisis that they themselves started. So understand that. And somebody that is that low down to dump dope on the people who are supposed to be citizens in this country, and then use the drug profits to fund a war in another country, that kind of wickedness really cannot be reconciled. And there's no way to talk to, there's no moral compass that kind of governmental authority actually has. And when you lie to start a war in Iraq and kill nearly 2 million Iraqis and say, oops, there were no weapons of mass, like it's nothing, that right there, and the American people are not even conscious enough to be upset that $3 or $4 trillion was wasted on a war that was started on a lie. They're not even conscious enough to even be upset about it. They're not even conscious enough to know that they were robbed and that they died and bled for lies. I mean, it's no consciousness. So the America doesn't care. It doesn't even care about its own soldiers. It doesn't care about its economics. It doesn't care about jobs. These are just things that are used at election time, but America doesn't care. Doesn't care about morality. You're looking at a cold-blooded killer when you look at this system. You're looking at somebody that will like with Brother Jamil Abdullah El-Amin, the brother we just mentioned. They will lock you up, throw away the key, and never let you out after knowing that they lied on you. They really do not want progress. They do not want reform, and they really don't care what they've done to you, how it has affected you. They don't care. And that is what Black leadership has to come to terms with. You have to deal with the fact that no matter what you do, no matter how righteous your intentions are, get this through your head, America doesn't care. Well, I got my education. America doesn't care. I'm doing the right thing. America doesn't care. Okay, there is an absolute attack on Black people in the judiciary all over the state of Louisiana. There's an absolute attack. always a black judge, particularly a black woman judges are always under attack in this state. And for what I understand, they have been under attack in other states as well. Black good educational administrators are under attack all over this state. Once you begin to make progress in stopping the school to prison pipeline at a particular school, what ends up happening? You end up having problems, complaints, and eventually you get ousted. There was an award-winning black principal at Woodlawn who the folks started getting mad at the progress that was being made, and they began to complain, and before you know it, he was removed. And this is an award-winning principle. So we see a pattern going on. So the same thing that happened with Abdul in Chicago, Brother Abdul Muhammad. There's a whole campaign, a whole lawsuit dealing with all of the wickedness that happens to black educators in the city of Chicago, in the city of Baton Rouge, in everywhere you are, Lafayette, it doesn't matter. Effective leadership in the black community comes under attack, all right, by the system, by the folks, as they say. All right, you need to understand that America does not care. Now, and I'm going to let the man that most of our people voted for and were poised to re-elect, because part of my job as a conscious brother who loves black people is to make sure that you don't forget, and that if you are foolish in your dealings as a person who loves you, I got to tell you that you were a fool. And I'm just going to say, we were a fool to vote for Clinton. We were a fool to vote for Biden. We were a fool to support the Republicans or the Democrats. Both parties are racist. Neither party is for the black man. Neither party cares. All right? And that's what you need to understand. None of them care about you. Now, I'm going to mention this because I got to touch on this. There's been an incredible propaganda campaign about vaccines to support a $150 billion gravy train, annual gravy train for vaccines. Now, the way that you know if somebody is lying, one of the indicators is, do they have a reason to lie? Those who are pointing out the danger of some of these shots, the encephalitis that is mentioned in the inserts, in the manufacturer's inserts, swelling of the brain is actually mentioned as a possible side effect. But when RFK, who has been on this issue for 20 years, who has talked about harm to children for 20 years, now when he says, look, we're not going to automatically, as soon as a baby gets out of the womb, stick them with a needle, the entire industry is in an uproar. Okay? And I know that all of these different groups, the pediatric people, all of these people have gone out of their mind making accusations with no proof. One of the things about RFK is that he comes with receipts. Dr. McCullough comes with receipts. They have actual facts and they're ready for the conversation. But these other people who criticize them don't want to get on the air at the same time they're on the air to talk about it, because they, in fact, are lying. When you look at those who have pointed out the danger of vaccines, right, and some of the harm, that's why there's no legal liability for vaccines in America. Everybody else is legally liable. Ford had to pay money because their tires blew out on some of the Explorers, I believe. Other people have to pay money if something happens wrong with their product, and rightly so. But a vaccine manufacturer, you can drop dead and you have no legal recourse whatsoever. And that's why a special vaccine court has been there since 1986, and you don't need to take away liability for a product that's safe and effective. They have immunity from lawsuit. So for those who are in favor of this 72-shot vaccine schedule, allow the vaccine manufacturers to become liable. Now, those who oppose the now, I'm not going to say oppose vaccines, but those who find a problem and are pointing out the problems that have occurred with vaccines don't have $150 billion reasons to lie. Those who are in favor of it have 150 billion reasons annually to tell that lie. And so the Institutes of Medicine, the American Academy of Pediatrics, all of these people receive money from Big Pharma. You can go on their websites, you can chat GPT it, you can Google it. They all receive money. Bill Cassidy, here in the state of Louisiana, who came out against the panel and what they were about to recommend, Dr. Cassidy receives money from Big Pharma. So everybody that is speaking for these shots are whores for Big Pharma.
Brother Darrell, we have
and
a
you
caller.
need to understand it. So we can go ahead and take this caller, and then we'll show the video of Biden after this call. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
A great topic there, Brother Darrell. America doesn't care and been not caring. But look, I'm glad you brought up that voting matter that you said about how we always think we have to go vote for our freedoms and vote for our rights, which is not our human rights, but just to vote to say we voted and doesn't change for us. Look, I keep telling these talk show hosts who always say that their community matters, that if you do some investigation on this government that you're always saying to participate in, they have been the biggest legislator against black people. But they need black people to vote, and that's our biggest problem. We're assimilating that line every time with they're not just telling black folks they got to vote, they're threatening them with fear, like the ICE and all these other cultures of people who didn't help black people, always talking about how we got to go help them and forget about our problems, forget about our young generation who the government is really after now by building these juvenile detention homes. But we got to wake these people up and let them know, let these white people fight, because they are the biggest criminals. You mentioned all these presidents that were fooled to go vote, but you forgot the main character, Barack Obama, the great black hope that we thought was going to give us change. He was the worst of all of them. They used him to get to Africa. They used him to get the black leaders who was really like Gaddafi and all these other countries with Muslims that really was trying to help the black people in this country. They had to kill him, and they used a black man who played like he was black, Barack Obama, and black folks went crazy and still mad. Like every now and then you see how these white folk go get him to rile black people up to come back to the Democratic plantation to give a vote against their own interests. This is our biggest problem. We don't think. I remember a while back you said that we are not political savvy because we like to follow algorithm. We like to follow what other cultures are not doing for us, but we're always worried about what the government is doing to them now. And our biggest problem is we warn these people. And yet still, what we still do, always go get in the line and talking about we got to save this country. You know, the thing that makes me so mad is when I hear black people who say they're educated, always talking about we got to save this country. We got to go in lines and bring.
We can't save it, brother.
For what? For white people's right that they don't even have.
We black people are not going to be able to save.
You also say about the biggest drug dealer, and you mentioned Ronald Reagan, who had his wife Nancy.
Crack Daddy Reagan.
Just say no to drugs. And
Crack Daddy Reagan is what we call it.
The biggest drug dealer, who didn't get no time, didn't get no punishment. Oliver North admitted to all the drugs they smuggled in. And look, the new little Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump, this pardon the biggest drug dealer in the country, but yet still saying he's bombing Venezuela for drug boats. They want that gas and oil Venezuela got. And that's the biggest problem with white people and some of the black people who think white people like them. They think we part of this country.
Okay.
So keep talking what you're talking, man, and like you keep saying, we got to be the one to change things. And to the great, the Muslim that died, Rap Brown, he was the new Malcolm X. He was about what he was talking about. He said what he preached. He preached what he said. This is the kind of black people they can't have around other black people to wake us up. And we got to wake ourselves up, black people. Stop following in this line. We are not part of this country and never will be by following these people.
Okay.
Neither white parties want us to be a part of this government, but they need us so they can make it look like it's us that's wasting all the tax dollars that white folks are now broke. Thank you, man. You have a good weekend. And tell the truth. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And tell all the black
Thank you,
people who
sir.
call, I couldn't say that. I am a free man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's exactly what we want to be. We want to make sure that we are mentally free and we are out of cognitive bondage, that we are mentally free. And a lot of us want to have hope in this thing, but we're not going to be able to change America. We're not going to be able to change the character of government. We're just not going to be able to make those changes. Those changes are going to have to be what the system does itself. We can't change it. The only thing we can change is what we think and what we do out of our thinking. That's it. We must depend on God and ourselves, as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has said. We can't stop the enemy from putting pesticides in all the food, from putting atrazine, these feminizing hormones in the food. We cannot stop them from doing, but what we can do is grow our own food. What we can do is stop buying Gucci and Versace and start buying land. What we can do is plant something and watch it grow. You know, my wife and I planted some corn. We planted some okra. We watched it grow. We brought it in the house. We cut it up. We ate it. And it was something that we produced, right? So we're going to be growing some other things. We can grow our own food. I can't stop these people from poisoning the food and poisoning the water. But what we can do is do something for ourselves so that we don't have to suffer the consequences. Because whenever you give somebody the power to feed you, you give them the power to starve you also. Walmart is not always going to be open for you. So you better start thinking, and our leadership needs to start thinking. Now, don't think Democrat, don't think Republican, think land, think housing, think water. You understand? Because all of us need those things. We don't need the Democrats. We need houses, we need land, we need those human things that are necessary. Food, clothing, shelter, education, and healthcare. And we can do all of that ourselves. All right. I want to point out to you also that Black people who have a Black primary care physician, listen to me. Black people who have a Black primary care physician live 7 years longer than those who don't. Just putting it out there. If you want your 7 years, you better get a doctor that looks like you. 7 years is a long time. Okay, 7 years is worth doing it for. We live longer when we treat ourselves in these settings. All right, I'm just letting you know we can do it, and when we do it for ourselves, we have better outcomes. Now let's go ahead, because y'all don't believe that America doesn't care, because I'm too Black for you. My skin is too dark, and when I had hair, my hair was too nappy for you. But we're gonna go ahead and let Joe Biden talk in his own words. And this is the person that we foolishly supported. I saw Black men crying on TV when he dropped out of the race as if he was good for Black people. This person was a backstabbing dog. and not worthy of any honor among black people. He'd worked all of his life to undermine the position of black people, to make it to where you could not, this is Biden, you could not get out of debt if you had student loans. He did everything in his power to make sure you could not get out of debt if you had credit card debt, to make it almost impossible for you to discharge things in bankruptcy. And understand that this was his life's work. Putting us in jail and keeping us in debt was Joe Biden's life's work. That is his legacy. Debt, which is slavery, and prison, which is slavery. That is Joe Biden's true legacy. Let's go ahead and listen to Biden, because y'all not going to believe me because I'm too black for you.
The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter, or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. I remember when it was going on when I was...
All right, Brother Dow.
All right, now, you heard from him. This is Joe Biden, the man that most of our people foolishly voted for. And again, I'm not an advocate of the Republicans either, because I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden. I went third party. I did not vote for either one of them because I didn't want to be responsible for the wickedness that both parties put out here. But he mentioned something about a lead pipe. Somebody's going to attack you. So this whole thing, and he's really talking about black people, that you're going to be under attack. That old racist notion that somehow you're going to be under attack. He mentioned a lead pipe. I don't know how many lead pipes are out here. I haven't even seen that there are lead pipes in Flint, Michigan that are poisoning the black people. There are lead pipes in Detroit that are poisoning the black people who are drinking water from. Those are the lead pipes I'm talking. But he said they're going to hit you with a lead pipe. They're going to do something to you. That's the same fear-mongering thing, and it was used to put people in jail for non-violent drug offenses. In other words, he put out here the fear of violence as a justification for putting people in jail who were never violent.
Brother Darrell, we have
I
a
want you to
caller
check that out.
waiting.
So this is a racist dog, not worthy of any honor by black people. And again, everything that he ran on was really a reversal of what he was the one who championed student loan debt and you not being able to discharge that debt. He is the one who championed the credit card debt and making it extremely difficult to discharge credit card debt in bankruptcy. He wanted to keep you in debt and put you in jail, and he was very, very passionate about it. And that's why I say America, not just the Republicans. Donald Trump is the latest face of white supremacy. Okay? It used to be Reagan. It used to be Bush. And believe it or not, it was Biden. He's just the latest face. The face is going to change, but the white supremacy and the racism will not.
Brother Darrell, we had a
That's
caller.
what you got to understand. All right, let's go ahead and take this caller right quick.
Caller, go ahead, caller.
Yes. Hey, guys, good evening. How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
Okay. Yeah, well, I had a chance to listen to it a little bit. I'm in and out, but I did have a chance to hear a little bit. And I see that Joe Biden showed a clip of Joe Biden and stuff. I want to ask us something tonight. It would be something like this. Where are we free in this world as people of color? Where in the world are we free as people of color? Where in the world is freedom at all in this world? I would love to find out the answer to that question. Where is freedom in this world? Because if anybody can answer that, I would like to go see it. Man, I tell you, it's crazy. We are at what we all know to be the end of a year, rounding up the end of a year, going through this holiday season, Christmas, Advent season, everything that we know to be. And years have passed, and here we are all still, seems like in the same shoes, or in the same boat that many people were in a long time ago. You know, I hear a lot of people with their different way of putting it. Even my way don't even sound right at times. It's crazy. There are people that are actually that have told this story that we are all dealing with. And yet many people don't even want to believe it. This story, in my opinion, has been told. Everything else, to me, it makes no sense.
Okay.
All I see is people, I would say, all I see is people running and grabbing for money, selling out their souls for the dollar. They don't give a damn about what they have to do to get the money. Whether they're politicians, whatever they want to be called, the bottom line is money makes them do things that even they thought they would never do in their life. I'll end it on this. December 31st is closing in on us. People are dying. We are burying family members in December before the year closes out. And I guess, people are starting to look forward to 2026. Shit, I'd like us to fix all this damn crap before we go into 2026. I'm done, y'all. Y'all have a good one. I don't know what else to say to this comic crap that we have going on all over this world.
Yes.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, let's go ahead and answer the caller's question, because I think it's a good question. He wanted to know, where exactly are we free in this world? He said people of color. I would say the original family, the Aboriginal people, are not free anywhere in this world. And they're not free. We are not free anywhere in this world because we're not free here. If you're not free between your ears, if your thinking is not free, then your body is going to be shackled by your mind. The fact that we voted for Biden, with that being what I showed you, being on C-SPAN, being on YouTube, being a matter of public record, the fact that we do that, it goes back to what the caller talked about, is people willing to sell their soul. And nobody said, because there are Black Panthers who are still in federal prison on trumped up charges from all the way back in the 70s. And we've gone on and said, well, we made so much progress, but we have forgot that we have brothers and sisters. Assata Shakur, who was in exile not long past. So you got a lot of these revolutionaries in exile as well as in prison who fought for us and fought for our people, that a new generation has come in that know nothing about their sacrifice a lot of times, right? And you got a bunch of these sellouts that literally sell their soul. Now, the previous caller mentioned Barack Obama. Barack Obama carried on, and I know this is rough for some people, because Barack Obama's personality, his speaking ability is wonderful, his intelligence. He's a very charismatic person. And when you meet him, you like him. You know, you literally like him because he has a nice personality. But he bombed Somalia, sent C-130 gunships into Somalia and wiped out whole villages because the white establishment that wants to control resources told him to do it. He went in and killed 50,000 Libyans. Now, if I murdered 2 people, y'all would say I'm a bad person. If I killed 2 people not in self-defense, just murdered them because I wanted what they had, y'all would turn around and say Darrell Muhammad is not a good person. And all I would have killed is 2 people. But I'm a bad person if I kill somebody. Don't get me wrong, which I would never do. Okay, except in self-defense. But the bottom line of it is that when you kill 50,000 people in one country, you cannot be called a good guy, especially if you kill them unnecessarily. If there was no threat to the United States and you killed 50,000 people, you kill people in Syria, you kill people in the Sudan. When Barack Obama left office, America was bombing openly in 7 countries. And when you kill people that you do not have to kill, you are called a murderer. That goes for Bush, who murdered 2 million Iraqis, hundreds of thousands of Afghans. He's a murderer. That goes for Ronald Reagan, who brought dope into this country, who started the crack epidemic. All of these people. Your average everyday redneck, your average everyday coon ass, doesn't understand that the tax structure was changed under Reagan and evolved to where it is now, to where there's no money for education. There's no money for you. You're thinking that they're going to take health care from me, but they made it unaffordable to you. And your hatred for me and my black skin has caused you to mess yourself up. Because if you have counties in Kentucky where the median household income is $24,000, and they all vote 98% for Mitch McConnell. There's nothing. Hey, there's nothing we can say to y'all, man. Y'all are gone. And like Biden said, Biden was talking about our youth. Some of them are beyond the pale, meaning you can't reach them. Just throw them away. He told you he doesn't believe in rehabilitation. So all of that talk of we can help folks and we're for the minorities, we're for black people. All of this, man, that right there was him speaking his heart. He doesn't believe in rehabilitation. He doesn't believe that it's real. And when it happens, they don't understand. They're not even just get them off the street, throw them in jail. I mean, you heard him say it himself. Then he used violence or the threat of violence, the same racist tropes. They're going to get you. They're going to hit your mother. They're going to hit you with a lead pipe. I've never seen, I grew up in New Orleans. I've never seen anybody walking around with a lead pipe. But lead pipes have poisoned our children in schools. But I've never seen anybody walking around with a lead pipe. He just makes up stuff. But I want to mention this in the remaining moments that we have. And this is from a book called Message to the Black Man, which I have recommended for years. Okay, and I continue to recommend. Now, this is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says on page 227 of Message to the Black Man. He says, during the time of the Emancipation Proclamation, we were scattered to the winds without any knowledge or ability to undertake the responsibilities of a half freedom. Our fathers, lacking the skills and training needed to provide for themselves, were forced to remain with the masters, meaning sharecropping, in order to receive even the barest necessities of life. Our former slave masters, knowing of our dependence upon them, maliciously and hatefully adopted attitudes and social education systems that have deprived us of the opportunity to become free and independent right up to the present day. This is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. But we, the black slaves of this soil of bondage, were not deprived of the freedom to fight in America's wars. But we are deprived of the right to fight for our own freedom. You understand me? That's what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. He lays it out. And that is why he calls for us to do something for ourselves. The one thing that we got to do, and we're told this in college, those of you who graduate from college, they always tell you to get your resume together and to build your resume so that you'll be acceptable in the system. Show your resume. When you get a PhD, master's, you work in academia, it's called a curriculum vitae. It's a fancy thing, but you get that together so that you build a history that you can show somebody and gain some sort of acceptance. But they never tell us to get our thinking together. They never tell us to get our character together. They always tell us to work to become acceptable to the slave master. That's what they want us to do, and that has not worked. It has not saved our youth, and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has told us to come together so that we can save our youth. Collectively, we have not moved in the direction of freedom because we have not desired freedom. We have only desired to be with the people that we love, which is white folks. And white folks have rejected us. Now, many people say it's Trump with all this racist stuff. It's America with all this racist stuff. Trump is just the face of it right now, but there'll be another face later on. It could be Lindsey Graham tomorrow. It could be somebody else tomorrow. You understand? There are a whole bunch of racists that are in this state in politics, a whole bunch of racists. We got a racist governor now. There's a whole bunch of racist people all over that are vying to become the next face of white supremacy around the world. There will never be a shortage of it. And then we'll be complaining about somebody else. It'll change. It used to be Reagan when I was a child. When I was a little boy, it was Ford and Nixon. Now the faces have changed, and now we're still whining about some racist white person in office and still using this instead of buying your freedom, getting you some land, you're spending it on a Chanel bag that costs $7,000 while you live in a doggone apartment.
1 minute, Brother J.
That's the kind of stupidity that we're rolling with. But until we become free in the mind and are not slaves to their labels, their designer, being with them, being like them, trying to be them, that is going to leave you continuously as a slave. You better love your black self, because if you don't, America sure won't do it. They're not going to love you. You better love yourself. They're not going to help us keep our marriages together. You better do it yourself. They're not going to do it. And so we have to come together to do these things ourselves, because America does not care. They don't care that you fought in all their wars. They don't care that you vote. They don't care that you're a good law-abiding citizen. Okay, they'll shoot you anyway. They didn't care that Ronald Green was just riding down the street. They beat him to death anyway, because America doesn't care. They let Trayvon Martin's killers go because they don't care. And that's what we as a people have to realize. America doesn't care, but we better if we want a future. And I'm just your brother, Brother Darrell Muhammad. We're going to be coming right back at you soon with another episode. And I just wanted to lay a few things out there. Hope I didn't offend anybody, but if I did, it was for a good cause. Remember, I love black people. I say what I say and do what I do out of love. And that's the main. And sometimes that love has to be tough. Love y'all. See you soon.